everybody. It is Proline on opening day of the 2011 baseball season. Not that we're going to ignore the other sports because there's a lot of good stuff going on right now. Jim Feist is here. I'm Dave Koken. We're going to actually kind of focus on the baseball right now. But, of course, we've got huge stuff coming up this weekend. The Final Four taking place down in Houston tonight. The NIT wraps up. It's actually been a pretty good tournament. And so there's definitely some good stuff out there. But it is opening day of the baseball season. We kind of like to delve into that as it's always exciting when a new season begins. And, you know what it also means, Jim? It also means that the start of the baseball season means the start of the perfect weather season here in Las Vegas. So we get a brief period of time where it's before it really gets hot. And I'll tell you what, you just can't beat Las Vegas at this time of year. It's awesome out here.
Well, we're looking at yesterday. It was like almost 75, 77 degrees. And we're looking at 90 degrees coming up either today or tomorrow or something. And I know when you look at the weather around the country, it's not so good in some spots. And, you know, baseball is a game that's supposed to be played in the summer, the boys of summer. But some of these games are not being played in summer weather, summer conditions. And, you know, that obviously affects the pitcher's arms, the bats, the sting in the bat, the ball. I mean, everything's affected. And, you know, when I look at baseball and you look at before these teams get started, before they warm up, get in stroke, we all know baseball is a game of streaks. Teams get hot, they get cold. Most sports are like that, but I think baseball can even be more so. And when they post a line like today, Atlanta minus 150 on the road at Washington, and then the game goes down to the point where I'm seeing minus 136, which is a pretty good move. And then you see like Cincinnati, they're playing at home minus 110. Now it's up to well, some places are still like 115, but you see numbers all over the board, 108, 117. These are big differences. So if you're shopping for numbers, I guess especially this time of year when the numbers are not all that solid, and the players, there's not as many people bet baseball as bet other sports.
Yep.
So you can have a big divergence in line moves. What do you think about line moves this time of year versus later in the year? Now, I'd imagine that this time of year they can be much more volatile than they would be later in the year when everybody gets kind of settled down. But thinking along those lines, how do you handle that?
I think personally, I don't care much because I'm doing what I do, and I don't really care. The only thing I care about as far as line movement is getting the best line if I'm on a particular game. Either being able to recognize where it's going to go and try and get in early or wait. But as far as the general, what does it mean on line movement, I give it more respect in baseball than I do in other sports because, and the bookmakers will tell you this, the people who bet baseball and are betting enough to move the line know baseball more than they know other sports. You actually, for the most part, you want to be anti the line movement. You want to be on the house's side in basketball. You definitely want to be on the house's side in football, especially if it's a favorite that's going up. I mean, that's when you want to be looking at the dog. But in baseball, I think you do have to respect the line movements because the percentage of people who bet baseball that are sharper at baseball is higher. It's not that the odds makers do a bad job, but they do have to put lines up based on pitching stats more than anything else. And I don't think they factor in some other stuff as much as the sharp bettor does, who has a chance to really study this stuff. And that's why, to me, see, the biggest difference in baseball and other sports is when we handicap football games, we're trying to pick the winner. We're looking for a side that's got a really good chance to get there with the points or laying the points. Same thing in basketball. In baseball, ideally, we do get a little more sophisticated in this, but ideally, you want to simplify baseball and win at it. What you're looking for is value underdogs with about a 50-50 shot to win the game. That's all you need. If you can get on a regular basis a team with a 50-50 shot to win the game where you're getting plus 120 or plus 125 or thereabouts, you're going to make money over the course of the season. Now, the trick, of course, is recognizing when a team is 50-50 to win the game and when they actually are a true underdog. But it's strictly a value game more than anything else. And that's the beauty of it to me. It's a sport where you can literally hit 48% on the season. And I'm hoping to do better than that, obviously. But you can hit 48% of the season and turn a real nice profit for yourself if you're an underdog bettor. That's why one of the things that baseball gives you an option at that none of the other sports do.
You see a lot of, like big favorites, like you got St. Louis today, 205, still 177 to 190. And you see a lot of, I don't see value in laying big numbers like that, especially early in the season when there's no consistency from pitching, hitting. You don't know anything about what's going on with these teams at this point. Laying big numbers like that to me is a little bit off the wall. I've been a value player no matter. I can remember back in the days when I played the horses very seriously. I always had an overlay system where if I can get a horse that's paying me 8 to 1, and it's going up against a horse that's say 7 to 2, and I'm looking at the two horses and I'm saying they're so comparable. Racing luck gets in there. Somebody blocks this horse. I got it better than 50% chance of winning this race if that happens. And I have maybe close to a 50% chance of winning the race if everything goes exactly well. Now, I'm getting value with that 8 to 1 horse. I'm not betting that 7 to 2 horse. No way. I'm going to bet the 8 to 1 horse because over time, that value betting is going to put money in my pocket, which is exactly what you said about playing underdogs. If you can get value underdogs over a period of time and you can win 48 to 50%, you're making money. And this is all about making money. I'm not a Yankee fan or a Cincinnati fan or any of those fans. I'm a bettor that wants to make a profit at the end of the season. Baseball starts today. We handicap those games. I think we have a big edge, not only in value betting, but in recognizing the talents of the teams. Yeah. So as we move forward, what game do you want to talk about here today?
Well, and before we do that, Jim, speaking of value, I know what your offer is. Well, I'd say $1 a day is pretty good value, especially when there's some other stuff thrown in there. So, what better time than right now to give out a great value play in terms of getting your selections.
All of April baseball, which is what you're talking about, for $30. That's $1 a day. I mean, give me a break. $1. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning and I'm selling this stuff for $1 a day. Am I crazy? I'm not going to get rich doing that. Plus, all of April's basketball thrown in and the high roller from today in baseball, absolutely thrown in there. $1 a day, $30 deal, 30 days of baseball, 30 days of basketball, and the high roller today in baseball, all for $30. That's $1 a day. How can you say no to that? Just call 1-866-841-1655. And Dave and everybody out there, we have this free service that if you text WINNER, WINNER, to 313131, we'll send you free plays each and every day right to your cell phone. Doesn't get any better than this, folks. $1 a day. Call 1-866-841-1655. You get 30 days of baseball, basketball, and a high roller play for today.
I have I'm not an overly superstitious person, but sometimes I guess it's just, I wouldn't even put this in the superstition class, but when I win a big game, a really big game, that was, advertised as such, I like to have a little celebration. It's, just kind of my thing. And the next day I'll give away a good personal service play. Well, I had 2 big plays actually the last 2 days. I had my NIT game of the year on Tuesday night. That was close. Colorado plus the points. It got there. And last night though, I thought this was it was one of the best plays I've seen in a long time. I absolutely loved the under in the Creighton, Oregon game, in whatever the CIT, CBI, I don't know, whatever tournament it was. Loved it. This was, and we talk about value. This was a classic case of extreme value. They played a very high-scoring game because this is that best 2 out of 3 series. They scored 160 points on a game where the total was about 143. And the odds makers adjusted it all the way up to 146.5 for the rematch, despite the fact that Creighton has had a tremendous dichotomy this year where they scored a lot of points at home. On the road, they've only scored 63 points a game. I mean, the value on this game was ridiculous. I looked at it and said, I don't think there's any way they could score more than 140 points in this game. The total's like 146. It did get bet down a little bit. But I just went out and said, look, I've never even had one of these before because I don't play all that many totals in basketball. I said, I'm going to make this my college basketball total of the year because I want people on this game. This is a great bet. It never came close to approaching the total. It was a really easy winner. Won by like 16 points. That's a really easy winner, okay? So, first of all, thanks to everybody who signed up for the game for $25. I sold it online for $500. And I really want to thank the people who bought it online. But thanks to those of you who took advantage of the special offer we had. And congratulations as well. So, a little celebration of that today. I've got a personal service play on this opening day of baseball, and I'm just going to give it away. No cost at all. Just make one phone call, 1-866-841-1665, 1-866-841-1665, and I'll give you my free personal service play in baseball today. And again, like Jim, you can get my free plays via text every day as well. Just text Kokin. It's on the screen right now, COKIN, to 313131, and within seconds, you get back the free play for the day. By the way, the free plays haven't been very good lately, but hopefully we'll turn that around. Okay, well, let's look at a game, an opening day matchup, and here's one of those games where you got a really high number. The Padres taking on the Cardinals, Tim Stauffer on the mound for San Diego, and Chris Carpenter going for St. Louis. It's an opening day game where you're looking at a $2 line. Jim, I just don't bet big favorites in baseball. I won't do it. And there's a simple reason why. You do have to handicap the starting pitchers, but you can't put too much weight on that because there's 8 other guys in the field for each team that can have an impact on the game. A simple look at the standings will tell you nobody wins 2 out of every 3 games. Nobody. There's not going to be a single team that's going to have a record of like 115 wins or 110 wins and 55 losses at the end of the year. Not going to happen. Likewise, there probably isn't going to be anybody who goes 55 and 110. There's a couple of teams that might approach it. But losing 2 out of 3 on a season-long basis, unlikely. And most teams are in that same general vicinity. That means that, generally speaking, laying 2-1 on any game is a really bad idea. I would say if you really like the Cardinals here, you're better off taking a shot on the runs line, giving the 1.5, and taking the plus money. And again, and that's not something I do on a frequent basis either because it's tough enough to win by 1 run, let alone 2. But I'm just not a guy who gets heavily involved in big favorites. Nevertheless, I think you're looking at a game here where the Padres could kind of get rolled. I think Tim Stauffer is going to do well for San Diego this year. I like Tim Stauffer. He pitched extremely good ball last year out of the bullpen, and he's always been a quality arm. He's had some injury issues over the years. He could be a real sleeper this year. For those of you who play fantasy baseball, your last starting pitcher, give Tim Stauffer a look. He's probably a really good value. But he's up against it here. He's got really bad numbers against St. Louis. His splits for his career much better at night as opposed to the day. And he doesn't have an offense behind him. I mean, the Padres are not going to hit the ball much this year. Carpenter, he's the go-with guy on St. Louis. And, he's got a decent chance to shut San Diego down today. So, this is not the way. I'm not betting this game. But if I were, I would lay the 1.5 in this game with the Cardinals and take the plus money back. Got any thoughts on this one, Jim?
Well, like I said earlier, this time of year, weather conditions and everything else affecting play, teams are not really sharp. You get your starting pitchers in there. You don't know how far they're going to go. They're not mid-season form. No. You're getting the big value. I certainly would not be laying 2-1 on a game. And obviously the players, the bettors, have sought to come in here and knock this line down significantly, where you can see the lowest number now in this game right now is 177. So they're coming in and taking value on the dog. Now, when you look at the run line, minus 1.5 on this plus 130. So, Dave, if you lay Carpenter and St. Louis, minus 1.5, you get 130 on your money. That's what you were suggesting a minute ago?
It's not I don't think it's a good bet. Because again, and I'm not a real big fan of laying runs lines unless there's something dramatic out there that I see, and I don't see it here. But if I had to play this, it's one of those gun to my head things. If gun to my head, I take my chances minus the 1.5. But I don't think that's a particularly good bet. And by the way, it's also not a particularly good value at only plus 130. I like getting a little more than that if I'm going to lay a 1.5. Kind of like to get plus 140, plus 150. Because again, it's tough enough to win the game by one, let alone have to win by more than that. So I don't think it's a good bet, but for somebody who's looking for a recreational play today, that might be worth.
Dave, that's the runs lines. They didn't exist a while ago. I mean, we went years and there was no run lines. I think back in the day when they first started betting baseball, they might have played around with that. And baseball has never been very popular with the bettors because when they like a team, like they like St. Louis, and you lay 2-1 on that team, and bettors do like to play favorites.
Oh, yeah.
So they like the team, they can see them winning, they can't really visualize the other team winning the game, and they say, well, in football you can take the dog and you can lose the game and still cover the spread. When baseball you can't do that.
No.
That's when the run line come into the play. So now you could play the run line on the underdog and hope to win the game or only lose by 1, and you'd win the bet. So that's made the game a little bit more popular. A couple of other things they brought in is the 5-inning game, the 5-inning bet. So they've tried to juice it up so that there's more interest in betting baseball because it's been very hard to attract bettors in baseball. And the problem in baseball is the bookmakers lose their butts booking it. So they like to get away from that and try to bring in more square bettors. Yeah. Right now, there's square bettors almost don't exist in baseball. It's all sharp guys. So, and they're winning the money. Well, so you bring the squares back in, and then they can beat them 97 out of 100 times, which is typical what happens. That's why the run line is there. And I personally, I'm not going to do anything with this, but I understand your thinking, and I do think getting 150 would be a whole lot better because over time you need that extra juice. But that's the only way I would play the game if I was going to put any money on it.
When I was going way back when, there were no money lines on baseball. Right. The illegal books that I dealt with, and then I was on that side of the window myself. It was basically, I'm from the Northeast, so hockey has always been a big bet back there. It still is. I know it's not in most of the rest of the country, but they love to bet hockey back there. Puck line was 1.5. You could take a goal or lay a goal and a half, or if it was a mismatch, it'd be 1.5, 2, or 2, 2.5. There'd be a half run or half puck differential. Awful bet for the bettor, but that's what they did. Same thing in baseball. If it was a close matchup, it'd be 1.5, or then, if it was a game like this, I would say, going back then, I would say it would have been 1.5, 2, where you could take a 1.5 with the Padres, and you have to lay 2 runs with the Padres, or with the Cardinals. Let's just say there's a lot more fair opportunities for the bettor now. It still, unfortunately, doesn't produce a good bet in every game. I don't think there really is one on this game, but I do think there's good value in the free play that I'm offering today. And again, it's completely free. There's no cost at all on this one. It's kind of my celebration after winning my total of the year last night in basketball. Also, I do want an opportunity to tell you about what I've got scheduled in baseball. We don't bullshit you here. We want you to call so we can tell you about what we've got in baseball. We think it's worthwhile. Okay? It's a good investment on your part. You'll make money. If you'd have just bet my basic service last year, if you'd just bet 1 unit, a flat 1 unit on every game I'd given out in baseball last year, and I can document this, by the way, you'd have won over 50 net units for the season. That's a lot of money, okay? I don't know if I can duplicate that, but I'm confident I'm going to have another really good year. So get the free play and find out what we've got. And make sure you get, cash the free play. It's a good play. I'm giving it out to my personal service players. 1-866-841-1665. And Jim, this is just a really good offer. I mean, $1 a day. This is a chance for people to sample what you can do for them over a really good period of time. It puts some significant profits in their pocket, and it includes a big play, one of these major plays that you charge a lot of money for, plus basketball. This is a terrific offer.
I can't say it better, Dave. Thank you. They just need to call 1-866-841-1655. 30 days of baseball, basketball, and a high roller play today, all for $30. 1-866-841-1655. Why not call? If you're going to bet baseball, you're going to bet basketball, and you want a big play tonight, $30, 30 days. We usually make money, a lot of money in April, because we stay ahead of the game. We study this stuff, and we're on top of it. And we have some good stuff today, believe me, real good stuff today. Make the call, 1-866-841-1655. And I've got another offer for everybody out there. If there's any game on the board you're thinking about betting today, and you don't bet it, and it wins, you go to your book tomorrow and you say, I want my money. Now, this is sort of what happens in Schenectady, New York, where all these people in an office buy lottery tickets all the time, and they all chip in. Now, this is what I'm understanding anyway, and I may be wrong, but it's kind of absurd. They all buy these tickets, but I guess every day they go and they say, okay, give me your money for the tickets in this one day, or maybe it happens often, I don't know. These one or two people said, no, we don't want to contribute, we don't feel lucky today. Well, that was a bad choice, because the guy goes to the store and he buys the tickets for everybody in the office, and the damn thing wins $319 million.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Now the people who usually contribute to this pool want to share. I understand their feelings, and I would feel sick to my stomach, and somebody might go out and jump off a bridge for making that kind of choice, especially if you've been contributing on a daily basis. So I guess it's up to the kindness of the others and what they want to do about this, but that's what's going on. It was all over the news, and I just saw it 5 minutes ago, and I thought it was rather humorous to talk about it.
Well, that old expression, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. Well, those people just found that out.
Going to the dry cleaner and say, I want those clothes over there. No tiki, no laundry.
It's funny. You hear that stuff out in Las Vegas. Because we're here. It's kind of like I don't remember what it was. It was actually not that long ago. Somebody says, when's the last time you hit a Royal in a video poker machine? And I said, I think it's probably been about 20 years. 20 years? That's awful. You must not have any luck. It's like, no, I just don't play. You're not going to win these things if you don't play. Unfortunately, they're not very good bets, and neither are the lotteries, but it just goes to show you every once in a while. I don't know. If, for $1 a day, which is, I assume, what they were doing, just throw in the $1. Jesus. Wow.
Well, I can take the other side of it. There's a lot of people out there hurting, and there's a lot of jobs being lost and everything. And I could see why somebody says, I can't afford $30 a month or whatever the hell it costs to play those things. But I never bought a lottery ticket in my life. But I can understand why people would back away, because the odds of winning these things are terrible. And I feel bad for them, but there's quite a few happy people in Schenectady right now, and there's a couple sad ones.
Schenectady.
So with that, I guess we'll sign off.
All right. Well, Schenectady, yeah, you could probably use it up there. So, no offense to the people in Schenectady, but The worst injury of my life happened in Albany, which is right next to Schenectady, so I don't like that area very much. All right. That's it. We're done. We'll be back again tomorrow. And again, we're heading toward the weekend. We will get into the Final Four. So you want to make sure and check in with tomorrow's edition of Proline. For Jim Feist, I'm Dave Koch. And take advantage of the offers. Make some money, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.